Hi folks, Robert J.E. Simpson here once again. Thank you very much for stopping by on the vlog. I'm not going to say an awful lot today because I have lots of stuff on at the moment, and just trying to get my head around it is creating a bit of a challenge in its own right. But there's a few things happening, and I just want to let you know what is going on in order that you can catch up. So you may or may not be aware, but on Wednesday nights at the moment, I'm doing little live feed videos over on my Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/Robert J.E. Simpson. You'll find them on there every Wednesday night. We do them at 10 o'clock UK time. And at the moment we're steering towards the weird and wonderful, mysterious and bizarre. And this week, tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing a thing based around ghosts. But next week is Mental Health Week. Here in the UK, and as part of the mental health programming that's going on around that time, there's a couple of special things happening that I've been involved with that hopefully you guys will watch as well. On Thursday the 21st of May, there is a documentary coming onto BBC Two as part of the Horizon series called What's the Matter with Tony Slattery? And this is a documentary looking at Tony Slattery, the actor and comedian, and his battle with mental health, if battle is the right word for it, and basically his attempt to seek a diagnosis for the conditions that he lives with. I was involved a little bit in the filming for that, along with Tony. We did some filming in Belfast when he was here in November. We did a couple of shows based around mental health and comedy. I did it with Tony and my friend Robert Ross as well. So I'm not sure what of that is going into the doc, but what we're going to do afterwards on the Cinepunkt podcast, we're going to release the audio recordings we have of the two shows, so both the interview that I did with Tony on stage and a version of the Comedy of Madness show that I do with Robert and Tony that we are hoping to tour at some point. So you'll be able to listen to those as well as soon as you'll be able to listen to the first one as soon as the doc airs, and then the second one will follow probably in about a week's time after that, again on the Cinepunkt podcast, which you can get from all good podcast providers and also from cinepunkt.com. That's cinepunked.com. So do check that out. The interview I did with Tony was really, really interesting and good. We've had a couple of technical issues I've discovered with our recording of it, but we should be able to still get it out for you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the documentary, and I do hope that it helps other people as well. You guys know that mental health is really, really important to me. I've had my own battles over the years. I live with depression and other associated conditions, and it's something I've been quite public about on my blog over goodness how long now. What I might do next week in the vlogs that I do is I might try and do a little mental health piece every single day, just to sort of focus things a little bit, and I might tell you a little bit more about my story. And what I might do actually next Wednesday night on the Facebook feed, I may actually just focus that entirely on sort of mental health issues. So please do stop by as well. It's really, really important, particularly at the moment when everyone is really experiencing this. I think most people, it's one of the things that I experience every now and then, is you'll encounter someone who doesn't really get that there is an issue. They don't really understand what you're talking about when you talk about mental health and when you're talking about things like depression. And increasingly I'm finding that people who wouldn't have expressed those sort of feelings before at the moment on social media are commenting about how they're going through stuff as well. So it's something that's very definitely felt, and you know, if I can help in any way, I'm more than happy to do so. If nothing else, look, I think it's important that other people share this story that we have. On that note as well, the guys on screen behind me today, Spike Milligan, Peter Sellers and Sir Harry Cecum. Well, Sir Spike Milligan, Peter Sellers and Sir Harry Cecum. Three of my comedy heroes. I absolutely adore the Goon show. Have done it ever since I was a little kid and first discovered all the silly voices. I've talked about it on the vlog already, and Peter Sellers in particular. There was a really good documentary on at the weekend about Peter Sellers, sort of produced by his grandson Will, who had never actually met him, and it's really interesting because it gives you sort of a very personal insight into what was going on with Sellers' life at the time. I know that not everyone is happy with the way that certain people were portrayed within it, but Britt Ekland talks at length, I think for the first time publicly, about her relationship with Peter. I saw Britt on stage in Edinburgh a few years ago, And she did, from my memory, she did talk about Sellers a little bit then, but not to the sort of depths that she does in the doc. So it's well worth having a look at, and definitely it's a really interesting piece. And again, it's one of those interesting things because for me, Sellers is somebody who within his lifetime wasn't really, they don't seem to have diagnosed him with a mental health condition, but I think reading between the lines, he definitely is. And he's someone who we talk about whenever we do our Comedy Madness show. He was one of the first names that sort of went onto our list. Because there is this fine line between genius and comedy often, and he is somebody who does seem to have been troubled, whether diagnosed or not. And whilst it's difficult for some people to accept that this is indeed the case, it's something I think is important. Anyway, I don't want to keep you all today. It's a very, very short little vlog, but just to let you know that's what's going on. So check me out on Wednesday nights on Facebook at 10 p.m. UK time for my live feeds. Also check out the Cinepunk podcast. We've got some stuff happening on it, and we will have a couple of mental health themed pods going up on there as well. And just be very aware on social media at the moment, because I think we probably are going to try and do some other bits and pieces, and I certainly am. So tune in, chat away, and just all stay safe, because goodness knows what's going to happen over the next few months. We're in weird time now. So until we meet again, adios.